April 5th, 2026, episode 630. This is episode 630. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys.
No bad, hope for a buck, and you know the hit man. Silly on top, but it never go bad. Sandwich hope, but it greener than a weed in the grass. 5 years back, I was
Shall we?
Private supply with that public demand.
Why do you do this? When in the moment, couldn't see your behavior was toxic for me. Eternal optimist, I make the best of it. Couldn't see your behavior was toxic for me.
Minnesota pilot's wife Jennifer Lieber sentenced for fatally shooting cousin turned lover inside mansion during drunk tirade.
You were in the house for 4 minutes in the kitchen area. Where was Jennifer?
She was right by me.
Okay, what were you guys talking about? It was 4 minutes.
We didn't. She was like hysterical. I asked her for a drink and or like water, and she didn't have any. She was trying to give me her cup, and so I grabbed some ginger ale out of her fridge. It's probably sitting on the counter.
What did she say then?
She didn't. She's like, I think he's dead.
A teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down, and a little bit of incest keeps it in the family. I did not know that's how y'all got down up there in Minnesota. Her husband was a pilot. It's much more of a flex. It's much more prestigious to tell everyone at your reunion that your husband is a pilot rather than telling everyone that you're in a relationship with your cousin. But don't worry, it's not weird or anything. We just hook up over drinks from time to time. The options couldn't have come down to just you and Cuzzo having some sort of lady in the tramp moment back there in the pool house. Women left to their own decisions. Am I right, ladies? The estranged wife of a Delta Airlines pilot fatally shot her cousin turned live-in boyfriend. We like family, baby. Kissing cousins during a late night drunken rampage and cried to cops that she really effed up before they found his bloodied body. Jennifer Lynn Lieber was sentenced to 25 and a half years in jail on Tuesday after she was found guilty of second-degree murder in the killing of David J. Nanovich inside her $1.7 million Minnesota mansion. Lieber had been drinking beer and blackberry brandy. Gross. How much you want to bet it was LaRue blackberry brandy inside her Scott County home watching TV with Nanovich and his 10-year-old son when she became agitated and grabbed a handgun on March 4th, 2024, according to court records viewed by the Post. Lieber had allowed Nanovich, her cousin, to stay in her pool house with her son while she was splitting from her husband. Yeah, you can stay here. You can stay in the pool house, but you got to do something for me. During his stay, the two became close and began a romantic relationship with one another, court documents claim. And it doesn't specify that the reason that her and her husband was on the outs was because of this relationship. Let's be clear about that.
So, what is David and Jennifer's relationship?
Okay, so it's kind of confusing. So try to follow me here. Dave's mom is Jen's aunt.
Listen, if you didn't know in 2026 that you shouldn't sleep with your cousin, now you know. Consider yourself today years old when you found out that you shouldn't sleep with your cousin. If you are sleeping with your cousin, stop it right now. This wasn't like you met a guy, slept with them, then later on found out that you were related. That would be bad too. But this was consensual, deliberate cousin humping. There is no good that could have ever come out of this. Even in the event that there might have been a shot at reconciliation in the marriage, this would have killed it on the vine. Nanovich's son told police that Lieber called her close lover racial slurs and hurtful things during the tirade. Now, the witness, the lady during the interview, said that Dave's mom is Jen's aunt, but they aren't blood related. I don't know how that works or if it even works at all, but they were definitely playing the margins, revealing that she had been abusive to Nanovich and compared living in the home to living in hell. According to the arrest documents, Nanovich and his son managed to escape the home, fleeing to the pool house where they were staying, and that's where they should have stayed. It's not a guarantee that she wouldn't have come to the pool house, but you can't tempt fate going to the main house, the mansion proper, and trying to interact with her while she's at this heightened drunken state. At one point, Lieber's biological children went to the detached structure where they asked Nanovich to check on the dogs inside the home. The father-son duo attempted to return to the house, but were met by Lieber, who again threatened them before firing a shot, missing everyone. She's out of control. During a second attempt to check on the home, the 45-year-old father went inside but never returned to his son. Lieber's sons called her soon-to-be ex-husband, Stuart Lieber, saying their mother was not acting normal. Stuart Lieber, a pilot for Delta, and the ink on that divorce cannot dry fast enough for Stuart, called 911, requested a wellness check by police. Police arrived to find Lieber outside her home, sobbing and with her hands in the air, claiming she really effed up. Yeah, she did. Officers entered the home and found Nanovich lying unresponsive at the bottom of the basement stairs. He was covered in blood with a handgun next to him. Damn.
I mean, you know them. We
I
don't.
do.
What do you think happened?
I think exactly what
Makes sense.
it doesn't. I don't know.
I don't know, I guess if someone's pointing a gun at you and you kick the gun, say I'm pointing a gun at you and you kick the gun, how do I get shot?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. That's really.
I don't know, and that's.
You're the.
Speculating.
Honestly, I really don't think that she would ever do anything to hurt him, ever.
What's especially disturbing about this already disheartening story is that the children of the household had to experience this firsthand. If it wasn't for that 10-year-old who was pretty much on the front lines for the whole ordeal, if he didn't sound the alarm to get the other two children to call the estranged husband Stuart, and then Stuart calling the police for that welfare check, there's a very good chance that Jennifer would have either killed herself or tried to kill herself. At least now, the only silver lining is that she's going to get help. She's going to get some prison time, but she's going to get help also, and at least these children still have a mom. Lieber told police that she kicked the gun out of Nanovich's hands during a confrontation, and the weapon went off, striking Nanovich. I don't believe that. I would believe that she either shot him outright in some drunken rage, or she shot him in the process of him wrestling with her for the firearm, but at no point do I think he had a firearm in his possession. I loved him, she said. Ew, because it's not like cousin love. It's like cousin loving love. Officials ruled Nanovich died from a gunshot wound to the forehead. Yeah, I think she shot him outright. Fired at close range. She was convicted of second-degree murder on January 30th, following a 2-week trial. This was a tragic and preventable act of violence. Yes, it was. Scott County Attorney Ron Hocevar added, "We are grateful for the work of law enforcement and the jury in holding the defendant accountable. While today's sentencing cannot undo the harm caused, this was messed up. We hope it brings," this was one of the more messed up stories I've seen in a long time. "We hope it brings some measure of justice to the victim's family." Lieber will serve over 16 years in prison before serving the remainder of her sentence on supervised release. Do you think that's a light sentence, or do you think it's about right? Let me know in the comments. She will be credited with 232 days of time served.
The relationship between David Joseph Nanovich and Jennifer Lynn Lieber was both romantic and deeply complicated, marked by tension and conflict that had been building for months. David and his 10-year-old son James had moved into Jennifer's home after the tragic death of David's previous girlfriend, and their living arrangement quickly became volatile. James would later describe the household as living in hell, with frequent arguments, verbal threats, and physical confrontations between David and Jennifer.
Leave me alone. Go away and stop antagonizing me.
What do you want?
I want you to go back to your house, both of you, and leave me alone.
We both cannot leave unless we call the police. Because you have threatened your life.
I have not.
Numerous times.
Leave me alone. Go.
Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. I'm out of my depth to say if these things are psychological, physiological, or hell, even spiritual. But there are so many stories that when people do things this extreme, as soon as the pull of the trigger, the knife, as soon as the body hits the floor, whatever the act of violence is, they immediately come back to their full senses and faculties to experience the full depth of what they've done. She immediately told the cops she messed up, which was a full 180 from her mind state just prior to this happening. I'ma make you live in hell. Boy, did that backfire on him. Man broke into ex's home to attack her after sending 250 text messages in one day.
One day before 20-year-old Joshua Bermea burglarized his ex's home in November 2023, he texted his ex 250 times, threatening to kill her. Leading up to this, the woman first reported to New Braunfels police in September 2023 that Bermea was following her in his vehicle and making threats. She also told officers he threatened to crash into her vehicle. Then 2 months later, Bermea sent 250 messages to his ex, some threatening to kill her and hurt her family. That next day, the woman called police saying Bermea broke into her home and assaulted her, at one point choking her. After leaving, Bermea sent her another message saying no one was there to protect her and he'll be back to finish the job.
Listen, not to seem selfish or anything, but this makes me look great. This definitely puts me on the other side of that stalker spectrum because you won't get not one text message from me if you tell me it's over. I'm not asking for any explanations. I would probably be like, oh good, something just freed itself off my schedule, then go take a nap. This makes me feel better about not having those sort of attachments. In that time for text, that wasted time, that time that eventually turned into prison time. And mind you, at 50 years, each text rounds out to about 73 days of jail time. You could do 250 push-ups. You could do 250 sit-ups. Hell, you could say 250 Hail Marys. If you have the faith, the possibilities are endless. Hell, you could have DM'd 250 potential new girlfriends. It's a world of options. A Texas man will spend several decades behind bars after abusing a woman he once dated, according to Lone Star State authorities. He got 40 years for the assault and then another 10 years for drug possession, I believe. On Thursday, Joshua Bermea, only 20 years old, pleaded guilty to one count of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit a felony other than theft. He also pleaded guilty to a separate drug offense. The defendant was swiftly sentenced by 274th District Court Judge Gary Steele to 40 years in prison for the burglary conviction with an additional 10 years for the drug-related conviction. The court assessed the sentences to run consecutively or one after another. So that means after he does his 40 years, then they'll send him to do the other 10 years as opposed to running concurrently when both sentences will run on the same time frame. The underlying incidents date back to the fall of 2023, according to a press release issued by the Como County District Attorney's Office after the woman dumped the defendant. Good for her. Bermea continued to harass and threaten her. Authorities said, you gotta leave her alone. You're 20 years old, you hit the gym, you read some books, you go for that better job position, then you come back, you work on a couple more relationships. It's like building a skill. It's like building a muscle being in relationships. You're not gonna fall in love with the first woman you meet. You're not gonna spend the rest of your life with the first woman that you date. It's possible, but it's a fairy tale to think that it's gonna end like that every time. Here's a little bit of wisdom from someone who just doesn't care about you at all. You don't have to get help. That's superstition. That's just a suggestion. That's new age philosophy, self-help crap. Here's what you do. You stay yourself. Never pivot, never change. How else will a woman learn to love the real you if you keep reinventing yourself? But you don't give the same old girlfriend the same old issues. That's when it becomes problematic. Get a new girlfriend every time so the problems are brand new for her. It's called a reset. You keep the problems fresh by changing the person that you're giving them to. On September 22nd, 2023, the victim told police Bermea followed her in his vehicle while he was calling her on the phone and threatening her. During this harassment, the since condemned man told the woman he was going to rear-end her vehicle. Leave that girl alone. Don't you have something better to do than chase this woman around, driving and texting, driving and being on a heightened, agitated phone call? You're going to get into an accident. In one message, he said, I'm going to make you live in hell, which is very ironic because 50 years in jail seems like hell to me. And the abuse indeed continued on November 8th, 2023. Through the course of just that one day in question, Bermea sent approximately 250 text messages to the victim. Is the day that long for you to do something like that? You know, they just weren't simple sentences. I love you. I miss you. Let's get back together. Call me, please. I need the tube to come home. They were complete paragraphs, 1,000 characters and better. Many of those messages were threatening, aggressive, and derogatory. Prosecutor said, I bet. Specifically, the defendant threatened to kill the victim, hurt her family, and slash the tires on her vehicle. Leave that woman alone. Go on and live your life. In one message, the defendant told the woman, I'm gonna hurt the expletive out of you. Just expletive. Wait, and this is where it gets very concerning. This is where it gets very scary because these type of people, clearly they don't respect boundaries. They're not going to respect the piece of paper from the court saying stay away. They're not going to respect that at all. They only respect the bullet in the head or if the police forcefully takes them away. And most of the time, the police don't get to them in time until they've actually hurt that person that needs the protecting. It's very concerning. On November 9th, 2023, the woman reported that she had been assaulted by Bermea, according to the New Braunfels Police Department. I bet leaving her alone, you know somebody either in your corner or from her family side told you to leave that woman alone so many times before it came to this. I bet you it doesn't seem like a bad idea now as you're telling your story to your new jailhouse spouse, playing the tape over and over in your head. At 20, think about it, at 20, even if you don't do the whole 50 years, you'll have done more time in jail than you have lived your life as a free man. Do you know what hell really is? I don't, but I'm pretty sure living under a bunch of grown men's farts for the next few decades is pretty damn close.
Sarah Simone, one day before the burglary happened in November of 2023, 20-year-old Joshua Bermea sent his ex 250 messages threatening to kill her. Now, leading up to all of this, the woman first reported to New Braunfels police in September 2023 that Bermea was following her in his vehicle making threats. The police also learned Bermea said he was going to crash into her vehicle. Then on November 8th, Bermea sent 250 messages to his ex. Some involved Bermea threatening to kill her and hurt her family. That next day, the woman called police saying Bermea broke into her home and assaulted her, at one point choking her. After leaving, Bermea sent her another message saying no one was there to protect her and he'll be back to finish the job. Bermea pleaded guilty to these crimes and will have to serve 50 years in prison, 40 for the burglary charge, and then 10 for drug possession.
Bermea entered the victim's home without permission. The DA's office explained when she told him to leave, he took her phone, that's kidnapping, and began assaulting her. He slapped and backhanded her repeatedly, pushed her to the ground, and punched her in the body and legs. At one point, Bermea placed both hands around her neck and choked her, preventing her from breathing. You are out of pocket. You deserve every last day they gave you and then more. During the attack, Bermea hit the woman so hard that one of her ears began to ring and she briefly lost her hearing. Law enforcement said after the attack, Bermea dropped and broke the woman's phone. After leaving the scene of the crime, he sent the victim another message that read, I'll be back one night to finish. Where's your protector? He wasn't there. Nobody to protect you. You are expletive. Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. There you have it, kids. Joshua Bermea. If you have a hard time dealing with rejection, if you have a hard time getting dumped, you have a long life ahead of you. If you can't take these type of things happening to you, then you don't need to be in a relationship. You need to work on yourself before you talk about being with somebody. Fun show. The music for this episode is from Will B. Alexander. Get your music from Will B. Alexander. I'll leave the contact information down here at the bottom. If you're a producer and you would like to have your music featured on an episode of this podcast, reach out to me on any one of my socials. Don't forget to follow me on all my socials. Find me wherever you listen or watch your favorite podcast. I am there. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois.
Why do you do this? When in the moment, couldn't see your behavior was toxic for me. Eternal optimist, I make the best of it. Couldn't see your behavior was toxic for me.
Little bit of incest, keep it in the family, huh? Teaspoon of sugar makes the medicine go down. Little bit of incest keeps it in the family. You want to believe people are better than this, and then this stuff happens.